You, the word meditation comes from a root word, which is Latin. Meditari, medit to think about, to think, to understand. That is the root word of meditation, meditari. meditari. അങ്ങനെയാണ് തോന്നുന്നത് കേട്ടോ. meditari. നോക്കണോ? ഞാൻ സ്പെല്ലിങ് അറിയാം. കുഴപ്പമില്ല. അത് കാണാൻ പറ്റുമോ? എന്താ നോക്ക്. അപ്പം thought and thinking, the difference between thought and thinking. So when you do the process of entertaining thought, and with an intention to know, you are thinking something. So meditation in that context, it could be interpreted as your intent to know something, to think and to know. That is the idea of the word meditation. And this is the root word of medicine. So it has a meaning to cure. When you get to know why and what something is there, you got the root cause of it, and then you get into some joy. And that joy will kill all the anxieties connected with that thinking process. So it has a wider meaning in that, though it is just specifically said like meditari, to think. But it is thinking is to know. So it is extending to that level to know. And in meditation, you can take anything outside things or inside things. And when you turn inward and start to look, actually, this is helping you to understand you. If you are thinking about things which are outside, you are trying to understand the world outside. And at certain points in the inquiry, masters have started looking inside, that we are seeing Santhi interpretation, and then you started to understand yourself. The basic idea is to think and do, so that you will be happy, joyful, calm. That is the idea of meditation. But the root idea is to think, and then we have to look from where thinking or how the thinking process is happening. The thinking, something should be there to think, and that thing which is as something is coming from the memory. Without the support of memory, you cannot think, because you see something and then you wanted to know. So you started the process of thinking. For that you need a lot of supporting material. And those material which you, with your interaction with the society, you take it from the society or to the world outside of you. The process is done by the mind, which is the inside. So when you are really putting your mind out through the senses to collect certain information, and that information is brought inside, you need to know what it is. And this process will not be effectively taking place without the support of mind. So when you are looking from where the thought is coming, you can see the root of thought is memory. So the thinking process is related with the memory. And we have seen in earlier class that memory is something which is stagnated in the mind, which has the retaining capacity and recollecting capacity. You retain thoughts, information, not thoughts, information, and then you trigger it so that you can drag it back from the memory and you can continue the process of thinking until you understand it. If you don't understand in this process something to the root of it, the process will continue. So the idea is to know something to the core, very deep, and there we can call it as meditation, because you develop a quality to concentrate fully on something, to gather all the information which is possible, and also you get very alert to tickle the memory to find new allied information to compare and complicate. And this is the normal meditative thing which everybody is doing. But in the context of spirituality, when we think about meditation, not this process. You are arresting the thinking process. And you wanted to understand the deeper things which are there beyond your thinking process. That is the idea. Normal meditation is associated with thinking, and for that, as I mentioned, you rely upon the memory. Memory comes from outside. You gather information through the senses from outside. And then the process starts. Thinking is a process which is happening by triggering past information and comparing and comprehending. And that is the main thinking process. And when you understand something, you start to feel joyful and you start to rest. So that is the end of your thinking. And so when you get satisfied that by getting a concrete understanding about something which is happening due to your sharp focusing. Without that sharp focusing, you will not get sufficient information to understand something fully. And when you get that sufficient information, your evaluation will be more or less better. If you get little information, you try to comprehend it. The comprehension will be depending upon what you read to your mind. And so, in meditation, you are putting yourself in a position that you are going to the core, maximum depth of where you can go. For that, you need a tremendous focusing. Focusing is concentration. So the tool that we are taking to meditate is concentration. As Patanjali says, concentration, meditation, integration. So slowly we are trying to focus our attention to get the maximum input, and then when the input is there, then we can analyze or make a better understanding. If that kind of a focusing is not there, the understanding will not be complete. And no understanding, when you look actually, you can see no understanding will be final. Because more and more information, findings, understanding, inventions, discoveries, all those things are happening all the time, that your knowledge gets refined in this process. So meditation is a program also to refine your understanding. Continuously you refine your understanding. Though we may not thinking about it, the final goal is to get the final answer. That's why we meditate, get a final answer. Otherwise, you are concentrating. The idea of meditation is working in getting the final answer for everything. And for that you need a sharp focusing. Focusing is concentrating your mind to the point of attention continuously for a long period of time. That is concentration. Until you are having the patience to actually stay with the object or the information for a long period of time, your comprehension could be erroneous. So for erroneous understanding is there, maybe you may be feeling joyful at the beginning, but later your joy won't come there because you are not satisfied fully. So focusing is the base. And that continuous focusing is called concentration. So concentration is a method for you to get into meditation in the ancient schools. And for that, actually, we need to have a quiet body. Otherwise, if there is restlessness in the body, certainly you cannot focus. So you need a healthy and quiet body to enter into concentration, which is dharana in Sanskrit. And then there will be a natural tendency for the mind which is shifting from point after point. Monkey mind. All of us have this monkey mind. And that is not something that you were born with, but it is something you added after being conditioned by the society. And that you can see when you look at the newborn infants. Our infancy says this very clearly, that we were all born with absolute focusing. Because they have no earlier impression and they are entering into the world, looking at something and then trying to look, because the vision is not so broad and they can only see very little. So the normal focusing is there because only very close range vision is there. But there are certain senses which are much more expanded. Like smell is very expanded. Ear is actually, you can hear long distance things. But vision is very short. So all these inputs which are coming from the point which you are looking will give an idea there. But verification may not work until you get more information from outside. That day by day, when you are living in this world, you get more information. And with the help of the previous information, you evaluate and you get the finding. If the finding that you get is not giving you a long-lasting joy, then it indicates that your understanding is not final. The joy came as soon as you understood, but it gets modified again. So there is actually, when you look in that way, you can see that there is no lasting joy in the knowledge which we have. When you find something, you are joyful, and then that joy is gone. Because you yourself will entertain a little bit of doubt about the finality of what you have found out. So you need to have a more relaxed way of focusing. And if you are more relaxed, you can focus continuously for a long period of time. If you are not very relaxed, you shift your attention. It is very natural. So you need to provide a deep relaxation when you want to enter into sharp focusing for a long period of time without a light. When your body is fit enough and your inner system is okay, you don't have that much of stress, your condition is really an enjoyable condition, a relaxed condition. And with the relaxed mood, when you are focusing, there will be no distraction. Usually, there is a lot of distraction comes all the time. That is that. Because as you are living in this world, impressions are coming all the time. And then, out of some reason, you get interested in many small impressions that is coming, or objects which is presented before you. So your span of attention reduces. You're born with a deep concentration, but as more and more impressions are coming, and there is a feeling to look, thereby the deep understanding won't come. Mind starts to naturally become distracted. Kshipta, Vikshipta, Ekagra, Mutha and Niruddha. These are the different states of mind. Kshipta, easily distracted mind. And we were born not with that kind of a mind. But by training, by getting introduced into the society, and with a lot of information, certainly you are slowly getting interested in everything. And also you get bored quickly. And that is why you jump from one point to another. This is the monkey mind. And you develop the mind from concentration into a monkey mind, which is the best contribution by the society. And so the natural tendency of being in concentration shifted. Instead, distracting tendencies are come. So if the distracting tendency is coming in the mind, what people do? You have to refocus to the point. As we got into the idea of getting distracted all the time, not idea, actually getting distracted all the time. Certainly, the normal focus, which is the usual focus, the inherent focus that we have, won't work at the same time. And thereby, our knowledge based on not going deep into what you are seeing will also become partial. So dissatisfaction stays with the person. About knowledge, always there will be some doubt, maybe something more. So the exploration continues. People go on exploring, everybody, and looking for new and new things. And by doing that, one thing is positive, that you get more information. The other thing is go on shifting from one point to another. So it gives the tendency of distraction. At the same time, you amass a lot of information. More information are there in your memory. Certainly, all the inputs come up, from which you can get some to compare, and you get the understanding. So the process slowly becomes complex. And then after some time, a lot of memories clutter our mind. Thereby, we cannot exactly focus and find the exact thing which needs to come for it to support, to verify, compare, verify, and understand. We are there. When we live here for a little time, it will be like that. And so mind becomes very distracted in this way, which is good, because we are not finding something, so we are looking for some little more joy, so you shift to something else. So in search of joy, we go on shifting, and we lose the base quality of concentration. That is the reason why we find it so difficult to meditate, and so difficult to understand things with clarity. It's normal for everybody. So one has to do something to get into that state of continuous flow of the mind to the point of attention for a long time without effort. If effort is there, you skip. If effort is not there, you stay. So effortless focusing is meditation. You need an environment, you need a relaxed body, and the clutter which is there in the mind should be reduced, and so much of information may not help you for these things. And then who is going to help you? An authority. So there is a lot of information, and in the information you get confused. So naturally what we do, this is comprehension. You ask to an authority says, your master says it is like that. Okay, fine. Master says. So it is master's word, not your experience. You get a lot of information, but it's not your experience. Until your understanding becomes your experience, you will not feel happy about that information. And the information or knowledge without joy is simple knowledge. With joy is wisdom. You have to get there. And meditation is aiming at that goal. Because a person is doing for his own joy. That is the core of meditation. And slowly, masters will talk to you about it, and they give some keys for you. And with the key, you go on working. And how to drop unnecessary information when you are focusing on something. How to take away the unnecessary clutter in the mind when you are focusing. And the basic thing is refocusing. Something is coming in the mind, you are refocusing and trying to find. And continuous refocusing will become your habit after some time, that your mind will start to stay at that point. There are certain minds which are projecting minds. The content which is there in the mind, you always project on things. And you try to confirm yourself the projection. Actually, you are not getting information from anywhere, you are projecting, continuously projecting. Some information is there, go on putting it on. And then there are certain minds which are concentrated minds, because they are not really spoiled by the condition. That's a quality of mind, a basic quality of concentration. For some people it is working very easily, depending maybe of their genes or maybe of the circumstances through which they were brought up, or the family background, or many factors. And when you can concentrate, you come closer and closer to the object which you wanted to know. Then there is another mind which is infatuated mind, which is not another mind, it's quality of mind. And you started to see something and you get very attracted of it, you forget all the rest of the things and you stay in that. Because you gain some pleasure out of something and you get infatuated of it. And thereby nothing other than that moment will be there in your mind. And this is the foolish mind, actually, infatuated mind. And for example, somebody comes aggressively and then do something with you, then you forget the rest of existence and you focus on the challenge and you try to make it. And this kind of infatuated mind cannot actually, though it is focused for a temporary time, for a cause, but it is not your character. And then with this mind you cannot enter into concentration or dharana. So when that kind of an operation is happening or tendency is growing in you, it is very important for you to actually and to see what the mind is doing. And when you become an observer of what is happening, everything will settle. If you are not becoming an observer, the object starts to take over everything. The object includes your information, your sensations, or your understanding. It takes over. And then you are not there. Then there is another quality which you can often find, at least in some people, or at least at some certain points of time in everybody. That is the concentrated mind. Ekagra mind. And because the distracting tendencies are not working very much by training, or maybe by birth, or maybe by less social conditioning, when you focus your attention, you stay there. That was the quality everybody had at the beginning, and that will come back by practice. And then you started to gather as much information as possible for you to get a clear understanding of what you are looking or seeing. And when that quality comes to a person inherently or by acquiring by practice, this is the good condition for a person to enter into meditation. Some people have. When they focus on something, the world is not there. The small children were there. This quality is a great quality for understanding. But this can be acquired by practice. If you don't have it now, we don't need to worry. If you work on it, you can acquire it. Unless you become very scattered in your inner world, there is a possibility. So concentration practices will lead you to meditation. So that is why Patanjali put dharana before dhyana. Dharana is concentration, dhyana is meditation. The difference between concentration and meditation is, one, concentration is continuous flow of the mind to the point of attention continuously for a long period of time. This is concentration. this is a fit condition for going further. But maybe if these distractions are coming, you need to apply refocusing idea continuously to refocusing. It is a strenuous program. By long-term practice, the strain goes and you habituate in focusing without strain. Focus into the point of attention continuously for a long period of time without effort, that's in quotation, is meditation. For some people it happens spontaneously. Some people have to work hard to get there because of the distracting tendencies. Shikta, Vikshikta, Mudha, Ekagra and Niruddha. Niruddha mind is obstructing mind. If before something enters there, you have the skill to obstruct it. That's a very good condition for meditation. There is interest is coming to jump, but you see it and you obstruct it. And if a person has that kind of a niruddha mind, he can very easily enter into meditation. So depending upon in which scheme your mind is trained, the easiness of meditation comes. And so by practice one can get that. Practice according to Patanjali, what he said was, long-term, continuous, assiduous practice will lead you to meditation. Long-term, unhindered, committed practice will lead you to meditation. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ചോദിക്കുന്നത്, ഞാനിപ്പോൾ എത്രയായി 10-20 വർഷമായിട്ട് I have been practicing for 20 years, nothing is working, sir. Because we are not coming to that kind of a sharp focus. If you are trying to focus, the stress goes along with focusing because of the fact that the person is struggling to refocus on it. That has to become spontaneous. When it becomes spontaneous, you are in meditation. This is right. Dirghagala nairandarya satkara asevita dritha buddhi. Dirghagala means long term. Nairandarya, continuous. Committed, assiduous. Nairandarya satkara asevita, detached observation will lead you to meditation. Nairandarya Sarkara Asevida. Our Sanskrit teacher will come and explain this. As a Dridha Bhumi. And that will give a strong foundation. Bhumi. It will give a strong foundation for one to get into meditation. Shikta, Vikshikta, Mudha, Ekagra, Niruddha. This is meditation the base. This is the base of meditation. Our base, if not there, we have to acquire that base. The time taking is not for meditating, but to acquire the basic condition to meditate. The interest goes on shifting. And there are certain minds. These are the basic mindset. Some people have very strong concentration. When they concentrate, the world is not existing at all. And there are other many areas. നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിൽ അങ്ങനെയാണ്. അവർക്ക് കോൺസെൻട്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ വേറെ ലോകമില്ല. എത്രയോ പ്രാവശ്യം ഞാൻ ഒരുമിച്ച് ഇങ്ങനെ നമ്മുടെ ബയോഗ്രഫി നോക്കിക്കൊണ്ടിരുന്നത് ഒരു വിഷയം ഞാനെന്തൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കും. അദ്ദേഹം വേറൊരു ലോകത്ത് ഇങ്ങനെ ഇരിക്കുകയാണ്. ചിലപ്പോൾ ഇങ്ങനെ നോക്കിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക. വേറെ എന്തോ ഒരു പോയിന്റാണ്. ആ പോയിന്റിൽ അങ്ങനെ ഇരിക്കുക. ഞാനെന്തൊക്കെയോ പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഒരു കാര്യം അവിടെ കേൾക്കണമില്ല. ഓർമ്മയില്ല. ഞാൻ പിന്നെ പലപ്പോഴും ഞാൻ വിചാരിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട് ഇതൊന്നും ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുന്നില്ലല്ലോ എന്നൊക്കെ തോന്നിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ അല്ലേ ഇങ്ങനെ ഇരുന്നിട്ട് കുറച്ചു നേരം കഴിയുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ഈ ഐഡിയ ആയിട്ട് ഇങ്ങനെ വരിക. ഇതാണ് മെഡിറ്റേഷൻ. ആ സാധനത്തിൻ്റെ അതിൻ്റെ കീ കിട്ടി, അത് ഓപ്പൺ ചെയ്ത് അതുകൊണ്ട് ഇങ്ങനെ വരിക. ഞാൻ 2-3 പ്രാവശ്യം കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി ഇത് അസുഖമല്ല, ഇങ്ങനെ ഇങ്ങനെ അപാരമായ കോൺസെൻട്രേഷൻ, ഒരു പ്രത്യേക ബ്രെയിൻ കണ്ടീഷൻ. ഒന്നും കേൾക്കില്ല. ആ ഒരു കണ്ടീഷൻ ഭയങ്കര കണ്ടീഷനാണ്. നമുക്ക് ഈ ധ്യാനത്തിലേക്ക്, ധ്യാനത്തിലാണ് ഓൾറെഡി സ്ട്രെയിൻ ഇല്ലാതിരിക്കുന്ന കണ്ടീഷൻ. പക്ഷെ ഇതാണ്, ദിസ് ഈസ് ദ ബേസ് ഫോർ meditation. പിന്നെ the science of meditation we can discuss. I have drawn the picture some time before, so you all know the